If I wanted to lose 25 pounds, here's exactly what I would do. I'm Noah, I'm a dietitian, and I'm actually on my own fat loss journey right now. I started out at around 216, 217 pounds, and I'm currently sitting between 200 and 202 pounds. These are the exact tactics that I personally use, but that I also suggest and recommend to my clients as well. For example, one of my clients was sitting around 165 pounds when she started working with me. Over the course of 3-4 months, we were able to get her to about 130, 135 pounds. She's been able to maintain that now for well over a year. Not only was she able to lose body fat during this time, but she was actually able to build muscle at the same exact time. In today's video, we are going to cover the 5 things that you need to know in order to lose 25 pounds, feel better, have more energy, and look better naked. Stick around until the end for one extra bonus tip that is going to make it almost impossible for you not to achieve this. So get your pen and papers ready, because this one is going to be a doozy. The first tip is to set up a time frame. What this usually looks like is someone will spend 3 to upwards of 6 months in a dieting phase where they are restricting their calories, they're getting into a calorie deficit, and they're able to maintain that calorie deficit for a prolonged period of time. Usually no longer than 6 months. Anything longer than that just really becomes so difficult to manage and maintain. Really, it becomes unrealistic for most. In addition to setting up a realistic time frame, I want you to clarify your goals. What do you want to have happen during this period of time? Is it the 25-pound weight loss? Okay, great. What does that look like broken down week by week? Right? Really flush out your goals here. In addition to answering the question, why is this goal important to me? Understanding the reason why behind your goal is going to have such a powerful influence throughout your entire journey. And I'll give you an example to illustrate this. Your reason why you want to lose 25 pounds is because you want to make sure that you're around to watch your grandkids graduate. I don't know, maybe it's along those lines of that goal, right? Pretty powerful goal. So you're going along your journey, you're doing everything that you need to, and guess what? It's donut day at work. You have to make a decision in that moment to have the donuts and to enjoy that moment, or to reserve from those donuts and stay on your long-term health goals. If you have a very strong reason why, you can lean on that as a tool during these periods where it might be difficult to maintain your diet or your workout regimen. Finally, I want you to set yourself up for success during this period of time. Don't plan a dieting phase when you have a ton of vacations or a ton of trips planned. Choose a block of time where there aren't going to be a ton of distractions, where you can really hone in and focus on losing this 25 pounds. The second tip is to set a calorie budget. As humans, we need a certain amount of calories to run all the different bodily functions we have going on. This is referred to as our total daily energy expenditure. We will then eat that food back from the calories that we get from food. Consuming fewer calories than we burned per day is going to cause us to lose weight. This is where I like to suggest a light to moderate calorie deficit, somewhere in the range of 10 to 25% off that total daily energy expenditure, in order to encourage weight loss, but not so aggressive that it starts to make us really tired and really hungry really fast. So the goal is to make it more sustainable and maintainable over the long term. One example that I use to explain this is like driving a car. You can either drive a car down the highway and try and take a hard right turn and see how you can control that car after that turn, or you can drive down the highway, merge off into the merge lane. In which scenario do you think you're going to be able to manage the situation better? When you take the hard right turn, or when you take the off ramp and it's a nice curve that you can get off the highway on? Yeah, right, you're probably going to have an easier time with the off ramp. That's the analogy that I think best fits here. The third tip is to self-monitor. It's pretty self-explanatory, monitoring yourself, right? We are monitoring all the different things that we can to, make informed decisions for the future. What this might look like could be tracking your food intake, right? Using an app like Chronometer. I personally love Chronometer. I've used it for the past 5 years and have been a paying subscriber. I think they have the best food data bank, in addition to just a great interface. Tracking your food intake using some sort of application, I think, is a great resource for you to get feedback on how many calories you're eating per day and what impact is that having on your weight. The second component to self-monitoring that I like to suggest to most is to weigh themselves on a regular basis. This is going to encourage some self-awareness around what are the the impacts of my eating behaviors having on my weight on a day-to-day basis in hopes of changing some of those behaviors. The next one that I like to suggest for people to start to monitor would be body fat percentage and their muscle mass percentage. During a weight loss phase, it is common for individuals to lose muscle mass in addition to losing body fat mass. And so in order to bring awareness to this, we would like to measure not only body fat, but muscle mass to ensure that we are at least not losing any muscle, but in hopes that we are actually gaining some muscle during this period of time as well. The last self-monitoring suggestion that I have is to take progress pictures. Week to week, you might not see huge changes on the scale or huge changes in body fat percentage and muscle mass percentage. That doesn't mean changes aren't happening. And those changes can be visual. And so if we don't capture those in the moment, it'll be hard to discern, right? Am I making progress? Then you look at those pictures, oh, week over week, I look much different, right? And so I think that having a progress picture is just a great backup tool for you and the kind of mental battles that come along with weighing yourself or measuring body fat percentage and muscle mass. The fourth tip is to make sure that we're making good food choices. There are three components when making good food choices that I think best align with trying to lose 25 pounds. The first is protein, making sure that we're eating a total daily protein intake of roughly between 1.2 to 1.6 grams per kilogram. For a 165-pound person, this is anywhere between 90 to 120 grams of protein. Not only do we want to hit a daily protein goal, but we want to have several protein meals throughout the day. Ideally, we want to have about 4 meals that have 20 to 40 grams of protein per meal throughout the day. This is going to ensure that we are not only meeting our daily protein goal, but we're also providing our body with the building blocks that it needs to maintain that muscle mass during this weight loss period of time. The next component here is the food groups, making sure that we're eating from lean protein sources, fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts and seeds, low-fat dairy, and beans. By choosing foods from these food groups, we're not only going to make sure that we're getting our calories and our macronutrients, but we're also going to make sure that we're getting our vitamins, our minerals, our fiber, antioxidants, healthy fats, everything that our body needs. Finally, we want to make sure we're getting enough fiber. Now, if you're eating from the food groups like we talked about in the previous category, then you're probably going to be getting enough fiber. But if you're not eating from those, you want to make sure that you're getting enough fiber throughout your day. It's going to help you feel full for longer. It's going to help improve digestion. And overall, it's just going to make the weight loss journey that much more enjoyable. The fifth tip is to lift weights. The goal in life should always be to preserve or grow new muscle tissue. Because we lose it over the course of our life, and it has such an impact on our quality of life, especially when we get older. So whether you're in a weight loss phase or not, the goal should always be to try and preserve muscle tissue. And how do we do that? One of the key factors in that is resistance training. There are 4 key principles that I want to talk about when you're thinking about your resistance training. So number 1 is progressive overload, making sure that you're making the workouts more difficult each and every workout. So whether that is adding an extra rep each time that you're going in week after week, or you're adding a little bit of extra weight, just making it progressively harder and harder, right? Meanwhile, your body is getting stronger, your muscles are getting bigger so that you can adapt and grow. In addition to progressive overload, we want to make sure we're having good form and technique, right? We want to prevent injury. We want to make sure that we are actually targeting the muscle appropriately. So good form and good technique play a huge role in that. Third is making sure that we're doing full range of motion, meaning we're taking that muscle through this full range of motion, full lengthened and contracted positions. By doing this, we can stimulate the muscle to grow. Finally, we want to bring high intensity to each and every workout that we perform, and always striving to do better than our last. For our bonus tip, habit stacking. If you made it this far in the video, thank you. If you got something out of this video, I really highly suggest that you hit that like button so that we can help other people find it too. That being said, habit stacking is the idea that we start out with 1 or 2 habits and we perform them throughout the week, maybe 2 weeks. We get really comfortable and really confident in our abilities to perform those habits. Then we layer on more habits. So this might look like, hey, for the first week, I'm going to start meal prepping and I'm not going to eat out. Awesome. You make that 1 week happen. You make that 2 weeks happen. Great. So by after that, so you're like, great, I could add a little bit more. I can do something extra here. So you then start tracking your food in Chronometer. So you stack that habit on top of what you're doing right now. And that only, right, takes it to the next level. In addition to tracking, you start going to the gym 2 days a week. So for weeks 1 through 2, you were just eating at home and not eating out, meal prepping. Weeks 2 through 4, you were going to the gym, tracking your calories, and not eating out and meal prepping, right? And so you can see how this starts to build and snowball on itself. And as you start to incorporate more habits, you get better at them, you get more comfortable and confident in your abilities, you're going to be able to excel. And it's almost like compounding interest, right? You get these 2 pieces that doesn't feel like they make that big of a difference. Then you start to get 4 pieces in there. They're starting to make a much bigger difference. Then you get up to like 6 behavior changes in there, and really starting to make some big differences. So it really starts to compound on itself over time. So that's the one habit that I think that if you took anything away from this, right, you can implement 1 or 2 things and you can add on to that over time. You should notice quite a bit of success with that piece. One thought that I want to share with you as we're closing this out is success is really found in those small, repeatable tasks that you can do day in and day out that don't interfere with your life too much, that really breed success, right? Those are the things that you can do time and time again that is going to allow you to get to your long-term health goals. To close us out here, I'm Noah Casella, I'm a registered dietitian, and these were the 6 tips that I am using right now and that my clients are using right now to lose 25 pounds, build some muscle, have more energy, and just feel better overall. I hope that you took something away from this video. If you did, please hit that like button. Yeah, until next time, I hope you guys enjoy.